My brother used my $10,000 scholarship fund. Now he pays me rent every month. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. I was 17 when I found out my brother had taken my $10,000 scholarship fund. I'd worked for that money. Every late-night study session, every weekend job, every exam I crushed. It all led to that one moment. The scholarship was supposed to be my ticket out. Out of our tiny, miserable town. Out of our toxic house. Out of a life that felt like a dead end. And then one day, the money was gone. At first, I thought it was some kind of mistake. I remember sitting on the floor of my bedroom, staring at my bank app, refreshing the screen like it would magically fix itself. I asked my mom about it. She wouldn't meet my eyes. My dad just said, "It went to family. Let it go." Then I saw the truck. A lifted, shiny red piece of garbage sitting in our driveway. My brother, 26, jobless, entitled, was taking selfies with it like he'd won the lottery. I asked him about my scholarship. He smirked and said, "It's not that big a deal. You'll figure it out." That day, something in me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I got quiet. I packed my bags. I took out loans, got 3 part-time jobs, and went to college anyway. I didn't go out. I didn't party. I learned how money worked. I learned how people like my brother get ahead, and how to beat them at their own game. 3 years later, he hit rock bottom. His girlfriend dumped him. He got fired from his warehouse job. His truck got repossessed. And I was waiting. While he was spiraling, I was buying. I'd been saving every dime. I bought a duplex just outside of town. Small but clean. Cheap but safe. Just enough for someone with bad credit and no option. I listed 1 unit under a fake name. He applied. Of course he did. He was desperate. I approved him. He moved in the next week. He still doesn't know I'm the owner. Every first of the month, he sends me a rent payment. He's late sometimes. I charge fees. I send polite warnings. I treat him just like any other tenant. Sometimes I watch him from the upstairs window. The way he drags himself into the house, hunched over, shoulders heavy. I think about that truck. I think about what he took from me. And then I smile. Because now, every single month, he gives it back, $1 at a time. Growing up, my older brother could do no wrong. He was the golden child. Even when he dropped out of community college, couldn't keep a job, and slept until noon. Meanwhile, I was on honor roll, volunteering, working weekends, and stacking up scholarship offers. I was the one putting in the work, but he was the one getting praise just for existing. When I got the $10,000 scholarship, it felt like I could finally breathe. It was my way out of our broken home, out of being ignored, out of always being second to him. I'd been accepted into my dream school, and that money was the only reason I could afford to go. Then it disappeared. 1 week before tuition was due, I checked the account. Empty. Not a dollar left. I panicked. I thought it had been hacked. I ran to my parents. My mom looked away. My dad said, "Your brother needed help. Family comes first." Just like that, it was gone. He used it to pay off his car loan. A car he later totaled while driving drunk. They expected me to understand, to forgive. But I didn't. I took out a loan. It crushed me financially, but I got through school. I didn't party. I didn't waste time. I studied finance, worked nights, saved every cent. I never asked them for a thing again. And I never forgot. Years later, after graduation, I bought a small house in town. Nothing fancy, just a starter investment. It wasn't even on the market long. A month later, I saw his name come through on a rental application. He'd been evicted, laid off, had no credit, nowhere to go. He had no idea I was the landlord. I listed the place under an LLC I'd set up during college. I even used a property manager to keep my name off everything. Of course I approved his application. He was desperate. Now, every month, he mails the rent check to a mailbox I own. The money he sends me? It goes directly into the account I used to pay off the exact student loan I had to take because of him. He still thinks the world's against him, that he's unlucky. He has no idea that the person cashing his rent checks is the same little sister he stole from. And honestly, I sleep a lot better knowing he's finally giving something back, even if he doesn't know it. I still remember the exact moment I got the email from my dream school. Full scholarship, accepted. Everything I'd worked for. I cried in my room for 10 minutes straight. It felt like freedom. I was going to get out. Our house was a war zone of shouting matches, slammed doors, and disappointment. I kept my head down, studied like hell, and made sure I had a way out. That scholarship was it. $10,000. My escape plan. Then one morning, it was gone. I logged into my account to check the payment deadline. Zero balance. I refreshed the page 5 times like it was some kind of glitch. It wasn't. I asked my parents. My mom said maybe I miscalculated. My dad shrugged. It's just money. And my brother? He didn't even pretend to care. Just walked past me and jingled the keys to something new. A lifted, shiny silver truck sat in the driveway that night. I didn't need to ask. No one admitted it. But I knew. The timing. The price. The smug look on his face when he caught me staring. He'd taken it. My scholarship. My future. And bought a truck. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I just went quiet. I worked extra shifts. I took out loans. I went to school anyway. And I made a list of every single thing I was going to take back. Years later, I bought a modest house in our old town. Clean, solid, nothing fancy. But with a finished basement that I converted into a rental unit. A few months later, my brother called me out of nowhere. Said he got laid off. Said his roommate bailed. Said he needed a place to crash for a bit. Just temporary, of course. I said I might know someone with a place. He moved in the next week. Now he pays me $1,200 a month to live in my basement. He thinks he's doing me a favor, calling it helping with the bills. He doesn't realize the rent was set specifically to match the monthly payment on the loan I had to take because of his truck. That same truck is parked in my driveway now, rusting at the edges. Too big for our tiny neighborhood. He washes it every Saturday like it still matters. And me? I sip coffee from the upstairs kitchen window and watch him from above, where I've always been headed. My brother has always been the one they protected. He's struggling, my mom would say. He just needs help, my dad would add. It didn't matter what he did, skipping work, crashing cars, lying to their faces. They always made excuses for him. Meanwhile, I followed the rules. I studied hard, worked weekends, and stayed out of trouble. When I earned a $10,000 scholarship for college, it felt like maybe things were finally turning in my favor. I was proud. I thought my parents would be too. Then the money disappeared. I checked the account the week before tuition was due. Empty. I thought it was a mistake. I asked my parents, panicked. My mom wouldn't look at me. My dad said, "Your brother needed it. It was sitting there anyway." He'd used my scholarship to pay off credit card debt and fix his car. I couldn't believe it. No one apologized. No one cared. I was told to be understanding, that he needed it more. I dropped out for a year, took 2 jobs, piled up student loans just to stay afloat. But I made myself one promise. I would get it all back. Every cent. I stopped calling home. I stopped looking back. I focused on school, learned about money, and after graduation, I worked nonstop. I skipped vacations, lived cheap, saved everything. 5 years later, I bought a small rental property, then another. I fixed them up myself on weekends. Slowly, I built something real. And then, like fate had a sense of humor, my brother called me. He'd been evicted, broke, needed a place to live. He had no idea I owned half the rental properties in town. I told him I knew a guy. I gave him the place with the worst plumbing, the steepest stairs, and the loudest neighbors. He moved in the next week. Now, every month, he sends me rent. He complains about the price, says I should talk to the landlord about lowering it. I tell him, rent goes up. It's called interest. He still doesn't know it's me. The rent I charge him? It's exactly what I would have paid each month on that $10,000 loan, plus a little extra for the years he cost me. Sometimes I wonder if I'll tell him one day. But for now, I'm fine letting him keep paying. Month after month, year after year. That's what happens when you steal from someone who never forgets. I didn't grow up wanting revenge. I just wanted to make it out. I kept my head down, did everything right. I studied hard, worked every weekend, and managed to land a $10,000 scholarship, enough to cover my first year of college without drowning in debt. It was my way out, my shot at a better life. Then it vanished. 1 week before I was supposed to pay tuition, the money was gone. I thought it was a glitch. I called the bank. The account had been emptied by someone with joint access, my parents, and they gave it to my brother. He used it to buy a second-hand Dodge Ram, a truck. When I confronted them, they barely flinched. My mom said, he needed reliable transportation. My dad said, "You're smart, you'll figure something out." So I did. I worked double shifts at a diner and took out loans to stay in school. I studied finance like my life depended on it, because it did. While my brother cruised around town in a truck paid with my future, I was building something bigger, something smarter. Fast forward 5 years. I've got 2 degrees, a stable job, and a better credit score than anyone in my family. I started investing, slow at first, then smarter. I flipped one small house, then bought a duplex. Nothing flashy, just solid real estate in a town where rent keeps rising. Guess who applied to live in one of the units? He didn't recognize the name on the lease. I used an LLC. He was desperate. His truck got repossessed after he missed too many payments. He'd been laid off. His girlfriend left. He needed a place bad. I approved him instantly. Now he lives in a unit of the duplex I own. Every month he pays rent. On time, with late fees when he forgets. And he still has no idea he's paying off my mortgage. The best part? The rent check goes directly to the same bank that holds the loan I took after he stole my scholarship. He's not just paying me back, he's helping me build equity, month after month. Sometimes I see him outside, standing where that stupid truck used to be. The space is empty now. Repossession took care of that. He thinks life just went downhill for no reason. He has no idea he handed me the fuel to climb out while he stayed stuck. And honestly, I'm okay, with him never knowing. When I was 18, I thought everything was finally about to get better. I had a $10,000 scholarship, acceptance into a good college, and a plan to leave our miserable, chaotic house behind. I'd worked for years to earn that money. Every late night, every missed party, every hour at my after-school job. I was finally free. Then the bank called. Just confirming, you requested a withdrawal of the full $10,000? I froze. I hadn't touched a cent. By the time I hung up, my stomach was in knots. I ran to my parents. My mom acted confused. My dad got defensive. It's gone, he said. It's just money. Just money? I found out later that they'd let my brother take it. He said it was for an emergency, but I saw the emergency parked in the driveway that weekend. A black Chevy truck with tinted windows and subwoofers in the back. He didn't even try to hide it. He smirked when he saw me staring. It's not like you needed all of it, right? That moment burned into my chest like acid. I couldn't afford tuition anymore. I had to take out loans. I picked up 2 jobs and dropped out for a semester to afford books. I went to class exhausted and angry. I didn't have time to be bitter. I had to survive. But deep down, I was already planning. I promised myself, I will get it all back. 5 years later, I had a degree, a solid job, and a savings account I never touched unless it was for something that. One day, scrolling through listings, I found a foreclosed house on the edge of our hometown. It needed work. It was cheap. It was perfect. I bought it, renovated it, and waited. Eventually, I heard through a cousin that my brother had been evicted, fired from another job, broke, no credit, no options. I listed the house under an alias. 1 bedroom, no pets, no noise, no questions. He messaged me through the rental site, said he was in a rough spot and just needed a fresh start. I approved him. He moved in 2 weeks later. No furniture, just trash bags full of clothes and that same fake confidence he's always had. He doesn't know I own the house. He doesn't know I raised the rent by $200 after the first month. He doesn't know the money he sends every 4 weeks goes straight into a savings account labeled Revenge Fund. And he still doesn't know I never forgave him. I just made sure he'd never stop paying. My brother told everyone he was just borrowing the money, but no one asked me. It was my $10,000 scholarship. I earned it. I got good grades, worked part-time, and applied to every program I could find. That money was supposed to help me survive college. But before I even saw a cent of it, it was gone. My parents co-signed the withdrawal. They acted like it was some kind of family decision, like we were splitting the pot. My mom said, "He needs a little help right now." My dad added, "You're young. You'll bounce back." What they really meant was, we gave your money to your brother, and you don't get a say. He used it to pay off credit card debt and buy plane tickets. He posted selfies from Vegas, pool parties, casinos, bottle service. I watched the whole thing from my shared dorm room while living off instant noodles. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just got quiet and focused. I picked up extra shifts at the campus library, skipped meals, took night classes. I didn't go out. I didn't complain. I survived. And I planned. After college, I didn't celebrate. I worked. I saved. I read everything I could about credit, real estate, business. Eventually, I bought my first property, a duplex. Small, rundown, but in a decent area. I fixed it up myself, 1 paycheck at a time. Then came the day I saw my brother's name pop up on a rental application. He didn't know it was mine. I listed the unit under a company name I created after graduation. He just saw an open apartment. He was single, unemployed, and looking for something cheap. Perfect. I approved him. Wrote a lease with every clause I could think of. Late fees, noise rules, no guests, strict maintenance terms. He signed it without reading. Now, every month, he pays rent to a landlord he doesn't know is me. Sometimes he complains about the terms. "This guy's a hard ass," he texted me once. I told him, "You should have read the fine print." He still thinks he got away with it. That life just happened to screw him over. But the truth is simple. He took what was mine. And now, I've made sure that every month, I take something back. Bit by bit, clause by clause. My brother took my college fund like it was nothing. I was 18. Ready to start college with a $10,000 scholarship I'd earned through years of hard work. That money was supposed to cover tuition, books, and give me a chance to finally leave our toxic house behind. Instead, he used it to fix his truck. Not just that, he took his girlfriend on a 2-week road trip across the West Coast. They posted photos on Instagram, beaches, diners, concerts. Meanwhile, I was in my bedroom, trying to figure out how I was going to pay for school. When I confronted him, he shrugged, said he'd pay me back eventually. He never did. My parents backed him up, like always. He needed a break, my mom said. You'll be fine, my dad added. They made it clear I was on my own, so I acted like I believed them. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I just nodded and left the room. But I didn't forget. I picked up 2 jobs, took online classes, learned everything I could about credit, saving, and investing. I skipped parties, skipped meals, skipped sleep. While he was cruising around in his fixed-up truck, I was building something better. 10 years later, I own the apartment building he lives in. He moved in without knowing. He was desperate, jobless again, out of options, bad credit, and behind on rent at his last place. The unit was small, a bit worn, but affordable. He didn't ask questions. I didn't tell him I was the landlord. Now he's 2 months behind on rent. He sends me long emails about needing an extension, promising he'll catch up soon. He's nervous, careful, trying to be polite. I sent him a reply through my property manager. No extensions. Late fees apply. He texted me last week just to talk. I knew what he really wanted, to ask for money without asking, to test if I'd help him just this once. I told him, we don't do handouts in this family, remember? He went quiet. The same words he once threw at me when I begged him to give the money back. He thought I'd fail without that scholarship, but I made it without him, without any of them. And now, he lives in my building, under my rules, with no idea who really holds the keys to his front door. I didn't just take back what he stole. I took everything he thought he'd never lose. When my brother stole my $10,000 college fund, it didn't just ruin my plans, it changed the way I saw everything. That scholarship was supposed to be my way out. I'd worked hard for it, applying to over 30 programs, maintaining perfect grades, juggling part-time jobs just to stay afloat. It was meant to be the foundation for a new life. Instead, it became the fuel for his latest bad decision. He drained the account behind my back, with my parents' silent approval. They claimed he needed it more, that he was in a rough place. He used it to pay off some debts and buy a used SUV. I was left to pick up the pieces, take out loans, and delay my first semester just to figure things out. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I took the hit, and I started planning. I switched my major to finance. If I was going to survive, I needed to understand money, how to use it, how to grow it, how to protect it from people like him. I read every book, took every course, worked every spare minute. While my brother bounced from job to job, I started flipping used electronics online and working freelance gigs at night. It took years, but eventually, I saved enough for a down payment on a small duplex. I fixed it up myself on weekends. Painted, patched drywall, did the landscaping. I knew it wasn't much, but it was mine, the first step in something bigger. Then one day, my brother called. He was between jobs again, evicted from his last apartment, broke, and looking for a place to rent. He didn't know I owned the property. I'd put it under an LLC. He just saw an ad, applied, and begged to be considered despite his credit score. I approved him. Now he lives in one of my units, and every month on the 1st, he sends his rent. Sometimes it's late. Sometimes he complains. I always reply with the same text. On time, please. He doesn't recognize the number. He doesn't know I read those messages from my home office. The one in the larger, nicer property I bought with the rent he and others pay me. He thinks I lost everything when he took that scholarship. But what he really gave me was direction. The fire I needed to build a life so far beyond what he could ever imagine. And now, he'll keep paying 1 month at a time until the debt is settled, in full. My brother said it was an emergency. He said he'd pay it back. But the $10,000 wasn't his to take. It was my scholarship, my way out, my chance to finally escape a house full of yelling, silence, and double standard. I worked hard for that money. I earned it, and he took it without even asking me. I was supposed to start college the next month. Instead, I was left staring at an empty account and a note from my mom saying, "Your brother really needed help. You'll understand someday." I didn't understand. I still don't. I had to put everything on hold. Took out loans. Deferred my first semester. Found 2 jobs. While he drove around with new tires and a fixed engine, I was skipping meals to pay for textbook. That's when something shifted in me. I used to think success meant leaving, getting away. But after that, I wanted more than escape. I wanted control. I never wanted to feel helpless again. So I got serious. I studied harder, majored in business, learned everything I could about credit, property, taxes, loan. I worked every side gig I could find, saved every extra dollar. While he partied and blamed the world for his failures, I was building. Eventually, I bought my first property, then a second. One day, my brother called. He was getting evicted. Broke. Again. He didn't know I owned the building. I kept my name off the paperwork. Let the property manager handle everything. He moved into one of my units. I added a clause to the lease. No modifications without written approval from the landlord. Now he knocks on my door when he wants to hang a poster, when he wants to paint a wall, when he needs to fix the sink. I approve or deny it, always politely. He still doesn't know I'm the one holding the keys. I like it that way. He once told me, "You've changed." He's right. I have. He took everything from me. So I took control of his life, quietly, carefully, one signature at a time. And now, every time he knocks, every time he waits for my permission, I remember what it felt like to be robbed of a future. And I smile, because now the rules are mine.